marketing for tier 2 and 3 is very different from marketing for metros. And a lot of these brands that you work with are very, very deeply rooted in tier 2, 3, and 4, like no other brand has been able to do. What do you think has contributed to that?
The biggest thanks I can give to COVID. We should not take it in a fun way, but COVID, did some magic in India. Content consumption habit of India is totally changed.
At Liberty, you turned a brand which was very tradition oriented to very youth centric pop culture brand. So how did you bring that change, and what insight was discovered to bring this change?
I realized even after being a very promising brand, producing very good footwears, somewhere we were lacking communicating or grabbing new age customers to the store.
From sketching souls to shaping stories, today's guest has walked a path few marketers ever do. Barun Prabhakar, who started his journey with footwear designing, went on to reinvent legacy with Liberty shoes, turning tradition into pop culture. And just when you thought he has mastered one industry, he pivoted again, bringing the power of storytelling to FMCG with GRM overseas. In this episode of Whoa, That Was Good, we delve into all of it: design versus data, legacy versus youth, and in-house versus agency. So let's find out what it takes to build a brand with heart. Welcome to this podcast today, and I will take the liberty in the name of liberty to ask you, how did you come up with this campaign?
So this campaign was basically a story of India, right? हम लोग probably उतनी केयर नहीं करते कि इंडिपेंडेंस हमें कैसे मिली है. So probably we are taking free. Sorry?
Especially today's youth.
Correct. So it is not only youth but everybody. I can say it is for everybody कि हम लोग इसको for granted लेते हैं, right? So it was an alarm. It was an kind of message to every Indians that nothing is free, especially freedom is never free. So we had to pay certain cost for it, and we should not forget it. So that was sort of a reminder to every fellow Indians that look at this, probably 120 minutes of video it was. Look at this video. We tried our best to capture certain, not challenges, but certain episodes happening around us, which we ignore in our daily life, but it matters to us, it matters to certain people, it matters to country in some way. So it was just an sort of effort from Liberty to make everybody remind that freedom is not free. So we picked a few subjects from different part of countries. Like हमारे ही देश में the way people from north east are treated with, that is not nice. Even they are that much Indian as we are, right? So we picked that subject. We often see tricolor being sold out on streets, on footpath every year around 15th August, 26 जनवरी के आसपास वो दिखता है हमें. हम उसके साथ सेल्फी लेते हैं, एंड उसके बाद क्या होता है यहाँ पर हम सब जानते हैं कि उस झंडे की या उस 3 कलर की कितनी इम्पोर्टेंस हमारे लाइफ में होनी चाहिए. वो प्राइड जो हम उस टाइम एक सेल्फी लेते हुए फील करते हैं, वो हमेशा होनी चाहिए. सो इट वाज अ रिमाइंडर फॉर एवरीबडी, रेस्पेक्ट इट. और हमारे आसपास जो घटनाएं होती हैं फीमेल्स के साथ, जिस तरह कई सारी अनफॉर्चुनेट इवेंट्स होते हैं हमारे कंट्रीज में, उसमें हम सब भी उतने ही भागीदार हैं जितना कि वो प्राइम अक्यूज्ड जिसने वो क्राइम किया है, इन सम मैनर. एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज बीइंग narrated in the film also. Even it matters a lot when you are looking at a woman with a certain gesture. It also makes a difference. So it's a reminder for them also, right? So so in a nutshell, इन द नेम ऑफ लिबर्टी हम लोग क्या क्या चीजें, क्या क्या गलतियां करते हैं हर रोज, जो शायद हम रियलाइज भी नहीं करते. इसके अराउंड ये पूरा कैंपेन था, जस्ट टू रिमाइंड पीपल दैट प्लीज बी वेरी कॉशियस, फ्रीडम इज नॉट फ्री.
It's a very beautiful message, and for brands today to kind of take up more relevant, daily impacting topics of social causes is something very few brands attempt. But if they are able to connect with their audience beyond just selling their product, is when true brands are built. When we talk about freedom, freedom is also about freedom in creativity. And you coming from a background of designing to now building strategies for brands, do you feel that freedom of creativity is still exists?
Yes and no at the same time. When you are professionally working for certain brand or certain client or certain project, there has to be certain thing which is commercial, right? When things are commercial, it is not necessary that creativity will be alive in real sense. Somewhere there is a phrase, it is called if your design is not sellable, it's an art, right?
Beautiful.
So if you are working for a commercial brand, if you are working on a commercial project, it has to be sold out. So that is where creativity has certain foundation, certain lines on it. So that has to be followed. At the same time, of course, you will have to figure out ways how you can bring certain nuances to the work, to the project, to the product, so that it's come out fresh, it come out organic, it comes out something which your audience will really going to like it.
There's always this underlying war between creative and business, which is what you just touched upon.
Yeah.
Right. So, how do you feel about it, and how do you navigate this?
See, I'm somebody. I was asked this question somewhere, so my answer to them was, if it is about me, I'll answer you how it feels when you lead creative and you lead marketing both, right? It is like being a mom and a dad at the same time, right? So when you have certain idea in your mind, probably the origin comes from marketing, right? So marketing feels certain creative solution needs to come out to address certain challenges. Then a creative person comes in and at the very first time when you hear the brief, right, you kind of take that brief as an you are conceived with some idea, right? So that is where a birth of a mother happens, and you carry it 24/7 with you. Whether you are in office, you are driving your car, you are going to your home back, you always carry that idea.
Creative is always
right?
on. Yeah.
It is always on thing. So you are always brewing that idea within. इसको ऐसे करते हैं, अच्छा ये ऐसा होगा तो ऐसे होगा. Sometimes you get best idea when you are driving. Sometimes you get best ideas when you are stuck in a traffic. Sometimes you get best idea when you had a fight with your wife, right, or husband. So it's true that when you have any creative idea in your mind, you act more like a mother who is very emotionally connected with his or with her son or girl, and the only thing what she wants is all the happiness for their kids, all good things about her kids, and nothing more than that. While a marketing person, a marketer, always acts like a dad who needs to control certain things which is more financially controlled, and which is more unstable towards numbers, राइट. उसको अपनी अर्निंग्स भी देखनी है, उसको अपना स्पेंड भी देखना है, उसको अपने सर्टेन ROIs भी देखने हैं.
घर तो चलाना है.
राइट. सो ही इज ऑलवेज वरीड के यार इस पे इतना पैसा तो लगा रहा है क्रिएटिव, is it really going to give me that return? So when you are leading both the things, it is always a dilemma which a mother and a father, faces. So it's that sort of. And for the it also has that perspective when you are working in a certain atmosphere where you have certain hierarchy, and certain things need certain approvals. अब एक मार्केटियर को तो आइडिया आ गया कि यार हम ये करते हैं, ऐसा क्रिएटिव करते हैं, इट विल ब्रिंग दैट सॉल्यूशन which will help brand in possibly longer time, right? उसने आइडिया बनाया, स्ट्रेटजी बनाई, बजटिंग आया, he goes to CFO, while marketer or creative had spent months on it, creating that idea, creating that strategy. He goes to CFO or whoever is responsible for that budget allowance. It takes hardly 1 or 2 minutes to conclude.
So true,
right?
So true.
यार आइडिया तो बहुत अच्छा है गुरु, इससे निकलेगा क्या, right? ROI क्या आएगा?
The big question that's asked always.
Right? हमारे एक्सेल सीट में ग्रोथ कितनी दिखेगी? So that is something where marketing feels that certain boundaries are there which needs to be little flexible. Business also has to understand that there is nothing like no marketing strategy is like Maggi recipe which will come out in 2 minutes, right? So yes, it is there.
So what contribution do you see that you're a better marketer today because you've done designing and the background?
So it's not that I feel whatever I did in my past and while I was a designer, I did good at that time also. And yes, I am enjoying my this marketer journey more because I'm getting a chance to connect with users more of I get to study a lot of consumers insights which are really interesting to go through, and I get to work with certain campaigns which makes you meet good people, big people, famous people, right? And it allows me to explore my creative side more. So yes, I love my marketer side of person more than what I did in past, but design was also enjoyable.
Talking about, having said this, Barun, your journey from Wildcraft, which is very completely different industry of luggage, to footwear, to now looking at FMCG. So how has the transition happened, and why that transition?
Okay. So yes, you were right. Like in a fun way, you can say every organization has those multi-talented people around you who are actually into everything, and they would be hardly in what exactly they are there for, but they will be around everything. So it is up to it is up to the CMO, or it is up to anybody how he takes that feedback or ideas and how they react to it. Sometimes and the best campaign, best communication is always something which is more resonating to the audience, right, to the users. If you are going to cook something which is totally out of universe, that will never sell, right? That will never fly. Any idea which is from the from the society, from the consumer's perspective, it is being made, it will always sell, right? So yes, it totally depends on you and I, that how we respond to those ideas. And your next question, how I transitioned from product development and sourcing to marketing right after Wildcraft. So yes, I moved out of Wildcraft and I joined RSPL, and in the very same context, मैं तो उनको गुरु मानता हूँ, मिस्टर मनोज ज्ञानचंदानी, who is one of the director. So he, identified that potential in me. And one day he called me and he said, "Ke, Barun, I have that confidence. Whatever I'm going to say now, you will be good at it." So that is where he broke this idea that, "Barun, you will be leading marketing, and not just marketing, that I want you to lead the creative function as well." Wherein at that time I was working with really renowned agencies of the country. However, he felt that, I have that creative potential, that I can literally bring some, uh, campaigns or ideas or, strategies which will equally work good for brand. So I got this break there, and luckily I was lucky uh, to, pull out certain, branding journey, certain strategies, certain communications which worked really well for them. And the saying came true that whatever we were discussing, right, के आइडियाज आते हैं, इट इज अप टू यू कि आप उसको पॉजिटिवली लें और उसको कैसे आप चैनलाइज करें.
Now, very beautifully, you mentioned how Mr. Gyanchandani showed the confidence.
Of course.
So, managing a team under you of marketers today, what do you see as a difference of, the team that has evolved over time as marketing?
Okay. So, since I have been through that journey, where I've been a designer into being into sourcing and then eventually into marketing, so I tried my best to be that flexible with my teammates who are working under me or working with me. I remember 2 or 3, I'm not going to name them, but yes, they are doing really great in their career. And when they came to me that, Barun, I want to switch and I have really good opportunities. So I was not really, I never felt, in a challenging situation. Rather, I was happy for them. I encouraged them, okay, if the role is really good for you and you see really a good path ahead, you should go for it. And rather, I gave them advice how should they actually adapt to their, career transitions. So yes, one has to be really flexible with their team and very supportive and very sort of, mentoring is very much important, as I received it from some people, special people. I also have to be special for certain, people working with me.
Mark of a true leader. Yeah. Barun, at Liberty, you turned a brand which was very tradition oriented to very youth centric pop culture brand. You talked about this beautiful campaign, Mera Juta Hai Hindustani, which was very out of ordinary for a brand like Liberty to do. Mm-hmm. So, and Liberty is a brand that we all want. If you look at it, our fathers and mothers are definitely still wearing it, but we've also worn that in our school times also. Mm-hmm. So how did you bring that change, and what insight was discovered to bring this change?
See, one insight is here only. You just mentioned that, we have worn Liberty when we were in school. So the real problem was there itself. So while I was working with the brand, I realized, being even after being a very promising brand, producing very good footwears, somewhere we were lacking communicating or grabbing, new age customers to the store. So the real problem was, we need to address, we need to identify certain areas wherein, resonance will come in play, right? So about this campaign was solution to that problem, right? When you say that I used to wear Liberty ka juta while I was in school, but not now. So the real problem was today you might not be, feeling connected to the brand the way you were connected in your school time. So what we did, we took very unique method here. I went to this song where it was narrated मेरा जूता है जापानी, सर पे लाल टोपी हिंदुस्तानी, right? So that was very true. It was not Japan, but it was China, where India was totally not majorly, but totally dependent on in terms of sourcing footwears, right? But today, if you deep dive, you will realize that scenario is totally changed, right? So the numbers and percentage is drastically changed now. Now, very good footwears are built in India. Now, many iconic phones or music headgears are being built in India. So this story was something which was needed to be told, right? So we picked up this hook. मेरा जूता है जापानी, so I flipped it with Hindustani, right? मेरा जूता हिंदुस्तानी. And since I had already created one campaign which had sort of created a good benchmark in the industry, that Independence Day wala campaign, in the name of liberty, you and I, everybody, we see that campaign, doing buzz on internet whenever 15th August is around, right? So we already had created that, benchmark. We had to come up with something very solid, very stronger than that, which will solve two problems. One, my Independence Day campaign needs to be noticed. Second, at the same time, with the same campaign, I should be able to attract those new age audiences. So that is where I thought of this unique idea. We picked up, certain musicians from different culture, different background, different geography, right? I picked up MC Square from Haryana, Kila from Bangalore, Riyaz from Punjab. Like that, few more artists were added to the list, and we did this beautiful campaign. We made it peppy yet desi, right? Wherein if you look,
also.
Yes, if you look at the video, you will notice the kind of aesthetics we have built, the kind of culture we have shown. It actually represented India, right? And it was not just this musical video we did. We did it with the soul. We identified a designer who was very good with her hand painting art on footwears. So it was 3-4 months long journey. I thought of this idea, and we created a footwear range, right, which represented certain art from certain states, right. Some art from Northeast, some art from Kerala, some art from Punjab, some art from Haryana, some from Bihar. So like that, we created 8-9 collections of footwear, which was a mix of, which had that cultural value of that state, right? It was a beautiful collection made. It was an exclusive range though, but everything was well planned. So we, prepared our footwear collection. We did this musical video, and everything was, planned well. It went well, and it created that magic among new age audience. And today they have good spikes in numbers in terms of footwear made for those new age customers.
Talking about spikes, you've really turned around numbers for two iconic brands, Red Chief and Liberty. Our audience today would love to understand those three top learnings from your experience of building a success playbook in the footwear industry. Talking about numbers, you very successfully contributed to the growth of numbers for two legacy brands, both Red Chief and Liberty. So our listeners today would want to learn from you, topmost three things that they need to definitely do, or maybe not do, as part of the success playbook for footwear industry.
So if you are asking what very specific three things, so one could be, the very first thing could be try to be relevant, okay, and try to be original, and try to be sustainable. Whatever you do, just make sure that whatever promises you are communicating through your campaigns, your collaterals, just make sure that your product is actually meant for actually live those promises. So yes, these three are certain things needs to be taken care of.
Beautifully put. Talking about your recent experience with GRM overseas, building a brand like 10x, which is into staples category, which is already very crowded and has certain legacy brands existing. Yet you have been able to steadily grow the numbers. So, what is your strategy behind growing an FMCG brand?
So I'll tell you why such good numbers we have achieved in very crisp time, right? So GRM is master of staples, right? GRM as a company is India's top 3 exporter in basmati category. So GRM staples में तो already कई decades का experience है. So products की quality, products को कैसे आउट ऑफ द मार्केट बनाना है, सस्टेनेबिलिटी कैसी होनी चाहिए, so that area is already sorted. So they were master in that category already. 10x is for India market, a branded product category which has multiple staple products in it, like सब कुछ ही है, rice, pulses, oil, besan, poha, etc. Everything is there. So, while we already have a lot of legacy brand in market, probably they are not addressing what we took to, right? We took those, unorganized market wherein consumers are having either, khulla staple or non-branded products. So we made 10x for those customers that, you have to be little cautious about your health, hygiene, and good product promise. So that was the positioning where we were playing and where we positioned our brand 10x, and we did campaign also around it only, wherein we targeted those customers in tier 2, 3, and 4, and so and so. While I'm saying tier 2 and 3, there are a lot of good numbers coming to the contribution from metros like Delhi, Chandigarh, and good cities of Haryana. So Delhi NCR is already the number 1 contributor. Probably people migrated from tier 2, 3 to these cities are the biggest consumer of 10x, who were earlier consuming local brands. Now they have shifted to 10x. And 10x also has good wide range, so it is always a win situation for the consumer also and for the retailers also to join with us, so that they have a good number of stacks in their store.
Marketing for tier 2 and 3 is very different from marketing for metros, and a lot of these brands that you work with are very, very deeply rooted in or they've penetrated tier 2, 3, and 4 like no other brand has been able to do. What do you think has contributed to that?
So I'll tell you, the biggest thanks I can give to COVID. We should not take it in a fun way, but it is a learning that COVID, did some magic in India, right? The content consumption habit of India is totally changed. Now, people from tier 2, 3 are very much aware about what is happening in metros, what is happening in other countries, what product they can afford in, lesser price, which they were not really aware earlier, right? And now, with the help of certain quick commerce and e-commerce being very competitive with quick commerce, they are also lucky enough to get products in lesser time. So the entire episode is changed now, right? So we also flipped our sort of strategy towards them, right? If you talk about internet consumption today, tier 2 and 3 consumers are doing wonders in that sense, right? I'm not going to name, but again, insight I have got from market is many dating apps, right? If I ask you, you might say that metro cities are the one who must be consuming it using this platform, but the real fact is tier 2 and 3 are the biggest contributor to those apps, right?
Interesting.
So in that sense, consumption of internet is totally changed, totally flipped. While tier 1 is sort of reached to its threshold where हमारी content consumption की habit भी threshold पे पहुंच गई, and you cannot simply impress tier 1 people with some lucrative ads, right? But you can do the same with tier 2 and 3, where internet consumption is at its peak. तो अगर आप वहाँ पे अपना मीडिया स्पेंड बढ़ाते हो, अपने प्रोडक्ट की अवेलेबिलिटी बढ़ाते हो, अपने रिटेलर्स के नंबर्स बढ़ाते हैं, तो डेफिनेटली यू विल सी गुड.
A lot of brands have started tapping onto this next 500 million consumers or customers that are going to be added because of this penetration of internet. So you very rightly put it. How do you be at the forefront of being the first to market to them will make all the difference of increasing those numbers. Which brings us to the last round of our podcast today, which is the rapid fire round.
Okay.
Just say what comes to your mind first. What's one campaign you wish you had your name on?
There are many. I would say there is one brand rather than campaign. I would say brand Durex. I really admire.
What is that creative refresh for you? It is music, travel, or silence?
It is travel.
Interesting. So when are you going for your next travel?
This month only.
Wow. A marketing rule you love to break?
I would say you should not be very much repetitive. You can try something original, something something which really connects with the audience.
So weirdest source of campaign inspiration you've ever had?
Subjects are there already in the society you are living in.
Existing. You just have to hear and listen and observe.
Correct.
So if not marketing, what would you be doing today?
I would have been a guy who was running a dhaba, small restaurant somewhere.
So one thing that instantly kills a good idea in a meeting?
The moment you limit yourself, first you create some idea, right? Create some idea, let the original one come out, and then you solve the challenges, right? Like the budgeting and everything that can be taken care of.
You've changed my perspective of looking at ideas and campaigns, and this brings me to a question that I've been itching to ask you.
Yeah.
How are you feeling today, being in front of the camera rather than being behind?
I told you I was very nervous. In fact, at the very right moment, I'm feeling nervous. It's easier to, stay back of the camera, and it always felt easier कि यार इसको ऐसे करो, ऐसे नहीं है, ऐसे करो. It's always to advise, but it is very much difficult sitting in front of camera.
Thank you for raising so many curtains behind making rap-led campaigns to boardroom decisions. And to our listeners, I hope you loved the podcast. So we would love to hear what is the next campaign that you're building on. Thank you.